Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be sitting and chatting about everything that happened to be able to PCS to Germany. I'm definitely going to be making a how to PCS to Germany and things you should know about PCSing to Germany later. Now I just want to sit down and kind of talk about what happened to us. So obviously we PCS'd during COVID-19, so it was definitely an experience. So I wanted to sit down and kind of share. This is what it's gonna be like to film on base right now because there's literally helicopters, Jake, and ice cream man, everything. Can you hear that, ice cream man? Yep, he's here. You won't leave your game to go get some. You're lying. Get one we can share, okay? Because you don't need to be eating.
Wait, where are my loafers?
I don't know. Okay, so we obviously PCS'd during a crazy season. So I'll start from the beginning. So in November, Jake was re-enlisting with the Army, obviously. And with this re-enlistment, from what I understand, he could request somewhere to go. Obviously, he could not get it, but he requested to get Germany and they had a spot available. So we knew we were going to Germany. Then I'm not sure how long it took for us to find out we were going to Ansbach, but it was definitely before Christmas. So whenever Christmas came around, we were under the impression that we would be going to Germany in February because that's what they told us, you know, from re-enlistment. So we found out in November that we would be leaving in February. And then it was right before we left for Christmas leave and like whenever our wedding stuff happened that we found out that it would be Ansbach. I'm like all over the place. So for anybody who is trying to go through this process, this was kind of different because we got to request to come to Germany, which is kind of rare. Well, I don't know exactly how rare it is, but he was in re-enlistment time period and then he wanted to go to Germany, so yeah. So the reason we picked Germany, I feel like I'm gonna go all over the place this video, so just bear with me, okay? Because I'm trying to like just off the top of my head come up with the timeline of everything and how it happened and everything like that. So like I said, found out that we'd be leaving in February to go to Ansbach, but the reason that we requested Germany in the first place is because first of all, Jake, his first duty station was Germany, but it was in a different city, like a different base. And we wanted to come back just because it's like a once in a lifetime experience. I didn't get to come with him. Oh my gosh.
He said today was the last day from Oka. He said make sure to get for your wife.
Okay.
I think that's what he said at least.
He just said that just to say that.
I think that one's yours.
Okay, so I'm just gonna eat this while I talk because it just, why not? So we requested Germany because we had decided together that, well, what I recommend doing is if you're a military spouse, sit down with your spouse, go through all the duty stations that they can be assigned to and just make a list and start ranking them. Obviously, that's kind of like not how things work, but are you gonna say hi?
Hey.
But for us, we did that so that if he did have options and he was there in the re-enlistment office by himself and I wasn't there, or whatever the case may be, he has a list of options, knowing that like he can't, if he could pick one from the top or one from the bottom, he wouldn't pick the one from the bottom, knowing that we wanted the ones from the top basically. So we knew that Germany was our #1 spot, so he re-enlisted for that. We wanted to go before we started a family, which don't get any ideas. We don't have any plans to have a family anytime soon, but we wanted to come here before we're starting a family so that whenever we go back, it could be an option for us because we'd be in the States and our families could be around, that kind of thing. So we decided to go to Germany. There's that. Then we found out we're going to Ansbach in February, what we thought. So at our wedding, if you were there, what up? We announced to everyone, which I didn't really want to do because I'm the kind of person that like I will keep things to ourselves as long as I can because I want to make sure things are set in stone before we let everybody know. So we told our family in November because Jake's brother graduated from Air Force BMT. So we told my parents and his family, because we obviously were there with his family, so we just told them. And then we told my parents. We met up with them like halfway between, because we were in San Antonio, they live in Houston, and so we just kind of met up in the middle. So we told our family in November, and then we kept it quiet for about a month before we came home for Christmas block leave. So we came home, well, I came home and told my friends. I like sat them down at dinner and told them. And Jake came home much later because he was in training for a little while. So he came home later, and then we announced to all of our friends and family that came to the wedding that we are going to be going to Germany in February. I think we jinxed it. I really do. Come January, we found out while we were on block leave that Jake had a slot at BLC, which BLC is basic leadership course, which is what you need to be promoted. So we had to cut our leave short and come home early. We left on New Year's Day to drive back to Colorado, be there for him to be there, I think on the 3rd or the 2nd. It was like really quick. So we found out a couple days before we had to leave, head back. So while he was in BLC, we found out that it would be too rushed to be able to like PCS to Germany from him graduating at the end of January. So from the end of January to our PCS date, which was like mid to late February, it was too soon. So they pushed it back to March. Then the lovely COVID happened, and they pushed it from March to May because the military put out I don't know if it was the Army. Yeah, it was the military. Put out a statement saying like, we're not moving anyone, we're doing stop movement until May 30th. So we were under the impression, okay, we're staying here. Then in between all this, we had already told our apartment that we were vacating. So you have to give a 30-day notice to your apartment, a notice to vacate. So we had done that already. And then the Army was like, hold up, hang on, never mind. So we had to tell our apartment complex, hey, we have to cancel that. And we went into the office and they were like, yeah, no problem, don't worry about it. So then we get an email saying, here's your move out information, like pre-move out update. And I emailed them back saying, hey, we went to the office, like misunderstanding, whatever. And they were like, no, you need to get out because someone's moving into your apartment. So we had called them saying, I'm sorry, what? And they were like, you have no paperwork for showing that your notice to vacate was canceled and all this stuff. So basically, if you're doing a notice to vacate with the military, make sure you're keeping your apartment complex in the loop. Get all paperwork, like any kind of confirmation for anything signed, dated. You have paperwork, you have an email, you have something in writing so that they can't pull what they did for us. So they ended up saying, okay, well, let's call around and see what we can do. So they called the people that were supposed to move in. It was really complicated, and they tried to say that they were going to charge us for all this stuff. So then they come back and say, okay, you're good. We're going to push it back to the end of your lease, which was May 31st. So we're like, okay, cool. Then we hear from the Army that we have a new report date of May 14th, which was kind of confusing, kind of weird. I can't remember if they had pushed it back. Yeah, they pushed it back to May 14th before they had put out a May 30th stop movement. So if you're dealing with anything like this with COVID and PCSing, please let me know, because if you need any encouragement, any help, anything, let me know. Our lease ended May 31st, and they said, no, someone's moving into your apartment, because we told them we're gonna have to re-sign our lease, like extend or whatever, because they ended up moving our report date back to July, or maybe it's June 30th, I don't know, it's all confusing. Basically, we told them we need to extend our lease, and they were like, hey, no, someone's moving into your apartment. So we're like, great. So we had signed another lease for a different apartment at the same complex. It was gonna be crazy. So then a week before we were supposed to move, we get a text or an email from them saying, hey, you can stay in your apartment, just re-sign this lease, whatever. So we ended up staying in our apartment. Then we got another notice to vacate for July 15th. So we told them we'll be out by the end of June. June 30th will be our last day. So we let them know May 30th or like early June that we would be leaving. Then COVID stuff started to get pushed back, and we were kind of freaking out, like, are we gonna have to do this all over again? We're gonna have to find a new place to live, like what do we do? So obviously it ended up working out, but it was another whole situation of like, we have to put another notice to vacate, we might have to cancel it, we might have to find another place to live, we might have to move into emergency housing, which that's not really a thing. But yeah, so that was complicated. But then time came around for household goods to be shipped, because everything started to, they basically said, hey, start PCSing. So everybody started to do paperwork and everything. Jake started to do everything. And then they said, oh wait, no, you need an ETP, which an ETP is an exception to policy, basically stating like you have financial issue with staying and you need to move, or you're an essential worker, like an essential, mission essential, so like they need you there at your new duty station. So the whole ATP thing was a crazy hot mess too, where we had to just basically figure out like day by day what to do. We just kind of kept doing paperwork, but kind of also being like, what happens if they tell us we can't move, you know, that kind of thing. So household goods day came around, and the only appointment they had from like basically the week we gave them, like, because we basically found out that yes, we're good, we're going if the ATP works out, like maybe 2 weeks before June 30th, whenever we left. So we called them, figured it out. They came a week right before we left. So we lived in an apartment, as you saw, if you saw any of my vlogs or like videos, cleaning videos and stuff, then we lived in our apartment with basically nothing for about a week, which was not that bad. And now we're still without our stuff, so it should be coming here pretty soon. But we ended up leaving, and while we were on PCS leave, we found out that the ATP got approved, just in case. They said you didn't need one at that point. Obviously we left, but it still got approved, and it was there if we needed it. So we had to book all these flights. Basically, we were, if you saw any of my vlogs again, we were at Carson every day for 2 weeks doing out processing for him, booking flights, booking, we couldn't do housing until we got here. Well, our sponsor did it for us right before we got here, but we were doing everything without having an ATP, and so it was like really like walking on eggshells, trying to like make sure that we're like prepared but not like too excited, or like too prepared and then it gets cut back again and all this stuff. So it was definitely an experience. We're obviously here now. I will definitely be making a video here pretty soon about all of the ins and outs of PCSing to Germany, what it's like, and all that kind of stuff. So our flights here, we ended up dropping off our car in Dallas to the VPC, which is the Vehicle Processing Center, POV, VPC, I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of different acronyms for like no reason. There's like a lot. So if you're new to this military life, highly recommend learning at least what you need to learn for now, and then learn what you need to learn for PCSing later, whenever that happens. So yeah, we dropped off our car, and then that day we took a flight from Dallas to Baltimore. We spent the day in Baltimore because our flight was at like about midnight, pretty much, from Baltimore to Ramstein. Then when we got to Ramstein, you get tested, and he got tested, like COVID tested, and then we came here and we quarantined for 2 weeks, and that's the story. So I know it was a lot. It was an absolutely crazy time to be moving in general, but to be moving overseas, it was just like really overwhelming. But we're here, we made it. Our household goods are supposed to get here within the month, like within a month from now, which is so exciting. I can't wait to decorate. I can't wait to take all of our stuff out. I can't wait to have a couch and a bed and our kitchen stuff. I'm just so excited. So I really hope this video was entertaining. That's our story for PCSing to Germany. Again, stay tuned for a video of like step-by-step how-to, tips and tricks, that kind of thing, because I'll definitely be uploading that, but I do want to prepare a little bit more and kind of finish his in-processing and just stuff like that so that I can have more answers for any questions. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
get you out of my mind. It's like I feel it for the first time.